Thank you very much for agreeing to this interview, Ambassador and Bridget. Well, this is the conference of IATEFL-Hungary, the 27th conference, and the title is The Power of Now. And we asked our plenary speakers a couple of questions, actually 7 questions, and I would like to ask the 7th questions from you too. Okay. So the first question, what are you working right now?
I'm working on organising the Diplomatic Fair, which is the major event for the diplomatic spouses of Budapest, at which about 40 embassies have tables selling their goods, and we have cultural events and raise money for Hungarian children's charities.
Oh, wonderful, thank you. And you, Ambassador?
Well, for the last 2 weeks, I've been working on my Hungarian language because this morning I had a Hungarian language exam, and because of my busy Budapest work schedule, I really needed a period of intense language training. So I spent the last 2 weeks in Pécs brushing up my Hungarian. Now that's over, I'm focused on visits by British officials and ministers to Hungary. Next week we have the Minister for Europe coming here. So that's what's on my plate at the moment.
Wonderful, thank you. And what is the biggest challenge for you professionally now?
Well, I'm not working in either of my professional fields, diplomacy or education, so my biggest challenge is finding something worthwhile and challenging to do.
I guess my biggest challenge at the moment is definitely relating to Brexit. It's a subject that dominates my daily schedule. But I'm very lucky. I'm probably the luckiest British ambassador in the European Union because here in Hungary we have a government and people, I think generally in Hungary, who are sympathetic to the UK and want to see as fair a deal as possible. So it's a subject that dominates my life, but I'm operating in a constructive environment.
Oh, yes. Okay, thank you. And another question. What is the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Be yourself, everyone else is taken.
Wow. And you?
Standing on the touchline with a megaphone is not a great way to coach people.
Wow. These are good ones, thank you. What do you think the most important thing is education today? What is the most important need in education worldwide?
I think that's very difficult to answer. I think there are lots of different needs. I think technology is a challenge and an opportunity. On a wider level, I think all teachers have a responsibility to educate whoever they are teaching about inclusivity and tolerance.
Yeah, I think it's difficult to generalize because there are different needs in every country. But if I think, for example, of here in Hungary, for example, there are some excellent schools where I think generally, and maybe this is a global issue of raising the quality of education and ensuring that the school leavers, for example, and the school leavers of today are equipped for the challenges, not just of today, but the challenges of tomorrow. And I think that that every country's got different needs, but I think ensuring that we prepare our children for the world ahead of them is absolutely key.
And as you know, the title of the conference is The Power of Now. What does it mean for you living in the present?
Another difficult question, I think. I think Cliff Richard summed it up very well in one of his songs, The Young Ones. I'm a very big Cliff Richard fan, in which he said, sometimes tomorrow never comes. If we don't live now, if we don't live for the present, we may be missing a big trick.
Yes, I think that theme of living for the moment is important. We're obviously planning for tomorrow. Much of what you're talking about in this conference is about how teachers will develop their skills using today's technology But at the same time, it can't just all be about preparing for tomorrow. It has to be an element of getting strength from what we do at this moment. Continually planning, I think, is not maybe the best way to go about things. Yeah, so I think enjoying the moment as well as planning for the future.
And this leads to the next question. How do you recharge your batteries? What do you do?
Many different things. Reading, walking, spending time with family and friends. That's about it.
Yeah, as we're a couple, I would echo everything she's just said. But I think, Paulie, I think definitely in terms of being able to get away from the work environment is important. And that's difficult because in many ways, we live in a 24/7 world. And, you know, when I compare, you know, how we operate as diplomats now compared with 20 years ago, there's a world of difference. The world is at our fingertips. So I think getting away from you know, for example, here in Hungary, getting out of Budapest is important. Budapest is not Hungary. Hungary is not Budapest. Getting out of Budapest, getting out of Hungary, I think it's important just to try to get into a different environment at times. And you know, for example, in a couple of weeks' time, Bridget and I are going off to the Balaton Felvidék, one of our favourite places in Hungary, and that would be a great opportunity to recharge batteries.
And chocolate.
And chocolate.
Oh,
It's very important.
Chocolate is very important.
Chocolate important. And
Yeah.
cake.
And just chocolate.
I go for cake as well.
I can see the difference here. Right. And the last one, Bridget, what's on your desk back at home in the residence?
A very big plan, sort of like A3 size plan of what needs to be done for the diplomatic fair, plus an almost completed draft of a novel. Almost complete.
Wow. Congratulations. Wonderful.
Almost.
I guess on my desk is a lot of the work that, a lot of the issues that have been dealt by my colleagues with for the last 2 weeks, which now I need to focus on. Particularly next week is a very busy week. So essentially catching up with many of the key issues. But I suppose most obviously is that this time next week I will be saying goodbye to a British minister who has visited. So next week is all going to be about his visit and the official opening of the new British embassy in Rózsadom in Fuge utca. So that's what's on my desk.
Wonderful. I wish you good luck with all your plans and all the coming work. And thank you very much again for coming to our conference and open our conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.